Like for me, I didn't even know I wanted to do PR. I'm from a really small town, and I learned very early on, everyone in a small town is going to talk about you. You better make it worth talking about, right? And if they're going to talk about you, you better spin it in your favor because you're either leading that parade or the parade is running over you. People thought they had to pay 10 grand a month for a publicist. They had to pay for someone's production cost to have a TV appearance. They had to pay for these magazine advertorials, so they could grow as a female entrepreneur. And the truth is, you don't need any of those things.
KJ, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here today. So we're going to talk about PR and we're going to get down to really what it's all about, what my listeners can actually do to help themselves and all that juicy details in the middle. So let's start with talking a little bit about what you do and how you help people.
My name is KJ Bauer. I've been doing public relations for 28 years. That's nearly 3 decades of helping creatives, founders, startups, small businesses, big and large, get in front of the right people, tell people what they're passionate about, and get the attention that their hard work deserves. I've helped every industry, agency side, corporate side, and now my own thing for the last almost 14 years. I just really like being everyone's hype girl. I think everyone has a story, and there's a reason why you have your business, your brand, your product or service, and I want to help you tell it.
Okay, so let's just start with the basics. Let's talk about what PR really is.
Sure. PR is literally talking about what you're passionate about or what you're an expert about to other people. It's sharing your gift with the world, your expertise with the world, and then it's leveraging someone else's platform, an already established, reputable platform as a third-party validation for you. Like we were discussing earlier, I can tell you all day long I'm great at PR, but if you hear me on another podcast, if you see me in Forbes, if one of your friends is like, oh my gosh, have you heard about KJ? She's amazing at PR. She helped me get X, Y, and Z. That's third-party validation from a borrowed platform, and that helps raise my level of expertise. So PR is literally free. Talking about what you're an expert doing, using other platforms like the media to validate what you're saying. You should be in magazines if that's what your people are reading. You should be on podcasts if that's where your people are. But you should never, ever, ever be paying to be in magazines. You shouldn't be paying to be on podcasts. You don't need to be paying to speak on stages. You are the expert. You are the draw. The media needs you. Magazines need articles. Why would you pay to be in one? That's an advertisement. That's a whole different thing, right? A podcast can't be a podcast unless it has guests. Otherwise, it's a solo podcast. So why would you pay to be on it? My biggest pet peeve is when someone calls an entrepreneur or small business owner, it's like, congratulations, you're such an expert. We want to feature in this magazine, blah, 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 blah. By the way, we're just going to charge your credit card $9.99. No, you're not. Like, that is paper play. It's gross. We call it payola. I can't stand that. I think it's just so shady. There are so many other avenues for you to get the word out there. You don't need to pay for a publicist. You don't need to pay for a huge PR firm. You can go to your local Barnes and Noble, look at the magazine rack, open up the masthead, go through who writes for it, start building a media list, pitch yourself there tomorrow. All free exercises, things like that. You can listen to podcasts and then pitch the host and be like, hey, I just heard so-and-so speak on your podcast. I'd be a great guest to talk about whatever you're an expert in. That was free for you. You don't have to pay. You just have to know what your goal is, what your area of expertise is, and then where your audience is. And then pitch your services to that audience, where they're going to be.
Do you have any kind of tips on finding it? Where do you find your people and how do you know that you're going down the right avenue where your people actually live?
Well, I think a little bit it's trial and error, but it's also being very clear on your goal, right? A big goal for me for 2025 was getting my book out, writing my book, promoting my book. My book is for female founders and entrepreneurs who are super busy. They're not sitting on social media. If they are, they're posting and praying someone makes them go viral and then they get out of there because they have a million things to do. They're wearing a million hats. But when they don't have time to sit down and read a magazine, that's a luxury. They don't have time to sit down and peruse who knows what, all the ads online. But what they do have time to do is multitask. So while they're working and kicking ass at what they're good at, they're listening to podcasts to learn more, to hear experts, to hear their idols and like how they built their business and get tips. And so I know that to find my people, podcasting. I want to sell this book. I'm going to be on every single podcast I can. I'm going to look for fierce female founders, their podcasts or podcasts that speak to female entrepreneurs. I'm going to get on every single one I can. I'm going to pitch and pitch and pitch. And the worst thing people are going to do is say, no, you're not a fit for us. And then I'm like, cool, I'll find one that is. That's how I found my audience because I know who my customer is. I know what my end goal is. And I know what my customer doesn't have time to do. Now, if I had a cute product like slime for my kids, then I'm aiming for moms and I'm looking for mom outlets, parenting magazines. Then I would be doing social media and I'd be posting all sorts of things about my slime. If I had a local restaurant, I'd be on the local news. I'd be pitching them segments about recipes. I'd be looking for the local paper. I'd be on Nextdoor. I'd be doing those sorts of avenues. So it's truly knowing what you do and who you serve. And then it's realistically, where are those people? Like we can all be like, you know what? I want to be on Oprah's favorite things. No one's looking on Oprah's favorite things for a PR book. Like
Yeah.
it'd be cool to be like, I'm on Oprah's favorite things, but I'm pretty sure a PR book is not going to ever be Oprah's favorite things. And I'm fine with that. Now, if I had a blanket, I'd be like, yo, Oprah, want this blanket? You have to be realistic about where you want to be. Whereas entrepreneurs, we're like, I need to be on Forbes. I need to be in Fast Company. But do you? Is that an ego thing for you? Will it move your business forward? Or is that how your customers are truly going to find you? And I think being realistic about that part, setting ego aside and knowing what's best for the people you want to serve, that's how you find your audience.
It's one of those where I was putting so much effort into Instagram and I was getting like almost obsessive because I was like, okay, I can get the algorithm to work and I can get more views and I'll get more likes. And I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, after almost a year. And I was pushing and pushing. And I was listening to a podcast and something clicked. And I'm sitting here going, my people are not consumed Instagram. They are women who already have businesses, already have consistent sales. They're not looking for a quick tip on how to start a business or a quick hack.
Yeah.
And I realized, like you just said, why am I putting all my time and effort here? My podcast and my YouTube, that's my avenue for my people because they want that longer content. They're willing to listen to that podcast. You mentioned your book. Let's talk a little bit about your book. I'm very excited for you about that.
Thank you. So my book is called Pitchworthy. It comes out January 13th, 2026, and it's half pep talk because I think as women, we are taught that our work speaks for itself. We need to be humble. We can be good at what we do, but we don't need to brag about it or tell people, which is the worst sales advice anyone's ever given. And so half of my book is just a pep talk. Hey, girlfriend, you're amazing at what you do. Tell the world about it. Don't let the work speak for itself. You tell all of us how awesome you are and how you can help us. That's half of the book. The other half is the basic tenets of public relations. It's what PR is, how you find your audience, how you build a media list, how you put together a content calendar that's not going to suck the life out of you and cost you hours and hours of time. But it's also, what do you do when people come for you? When you have a bad client or a negative press or, oh my gosh, the social media trolls. Because if you're successful in business, the people will come for you. And how do you handle that sort of thing? So it's really a workbook and a guide on how to do public relations for yourself without paying a publicist, without paying a ton of money, without paying for placements and that sort of thing. It's a guidebook for the busy entrepreneur. And it's a very quick read.
And then you said you're going on tour, which I thought was really cool. But let's talk about that a little bit because I know a lot of the women in my circles, they're all trying to write their books. I talked to you about how I'm slowly working on my book. So
Right.
you're actually going to be touring around. Let's talk about that a little bit.
I am. The thing that's great about writing a book is you think you write the book and then everyone's going to want it. My publisher came to me and said, okay, on your published date, we got you into a Barnes & Noble. Congratulations. Very few people get to sit at the table at a Barnes & Noble. We found you a local one in Dallas where I'm at. They're going to let you sit there all afternoon. And I thought, I can't think of anything more horrific than sitting in a Barnes & Noble. No one is coming into a Barnes & Noble on a Saturday at any point in time to buy a PR book. Not even my mom. My mom is not going to come do that. And I thought, this isn't why I wrote the book. I wrote the book for women and female founders, mompreneurs, busy people who don't have time to come into a Barnes & Noble, but they could take time to come to a networking session and meet other potential clients, potential peers, potential partners. So I decided I was going to reach out to my network and say, hey, I'm willing to come in and do a 30-minute PR class. If you're willing to also let people do 30 minutes of networking, that's an hour of our time. If they want to buy the book, great. If they don't, they don't. But I get to meet cool people. I get to get out there and greet people. I get to do what I like doing, which is help other people learn how to get their business, their brand, their services, their products seen. Let's make it happen. And so I put a little blurb out to some of my friends, and I'm now going on. It's currently 7 cities. I'm pretty sure we're going to get up to 10, but I'm basically traveling all of January and into February to promote my book. And the coolest part is I'm going to get to teach people about public relations. I get to talk about what I'm passionate about. I get to help people and serve the ones I want to. At the same time, they're going to get to connect with other amazing women, and it's just going to be fun.
I love, and you put a different spin on it. Let me educate you. Let me teach you something that I want to share. And then we can meet people and we can all grow. I love that because that's where we're all struggling, right? As a founder and having multiple businesses and having success, I'm building my house of Cortez and my private society because we don't have enough community. We don't have the women who are there to help each other. And I tell people what I've done is I went through all the haystacks, pulled the needles, put them in a pile, and these are your people. You don't have to
Mhm.
go search for your people anymore. They're here in this private society. If this is the way you want to live, if this is the way you grow your business, then you belong here. If not, this isn't for you. And I
Right.
think we've lost that community as women, especially in business, and
Mhm.
that's hurting us. It is from ancient times. We are meant to be in a community. We're meant to help each other out. And I talk about this all the time. Stop being like, oh, I'm better than you, or I don't want her to see how messed up I am or how much I'm struggling because then she won't want to work with me or she won't want something from me. I tell my friends who are other entrepreneurs, I totally screw that up. I totally messed that up. And I'm honest with them. And I think we've lost that.
No, I think we have lost it. I think that men don't have this. We pit women against women. There can only be one woman that reigns. I know when I started out in PR, I started out with 75 other interns, and it was only one of you is surviving this. Only one of you is going to get a full-time job. It was the Hunger Games of PR. It was not pretty. I'm not proud of my early years of PR. It actually hurts my heart because some of those people are truly great people, but also not a lot of people stay in PR. It's pretty cutthroat. And I think that can be said across other industries, but there's room for all of us. There's room for so many PR people. And I have friends who are, oh, I met this cool PR person. I want to introduce you, but you both do PR. I don't care. They're not my competition. I can't serve every client on the world. I can't serve more than 2 clients in an industry. I want a good peer to refer people to. I want more people to help people see what public relations is. It truly is a rising tide that lifts all boats. And I love the community that you're building because as women, I think we need a sounding board. And being an entrepreneur is lonely. It is hard. It is a struggle. It is a mirror to all of your insecurities. And sometimes you don't know which way is up. And it's so nice. My group of girlfriends that are entrepreneurs with me, the communities that I am in, it's so nice to reach out and be like, hey, I am struggling with this. It's probably the dumbest question you've ever heard. And there will always be someone who's, that is not the dumbest question I've heard. I just had it. Here's how I know how to do it. Here's a fix it. There's always someone who's willing to give you a boost, to help you out, to look forward, because we've all been there on our darkest days or our brightest days. You need those people to turn to. And so there's really no reason for or room for competition. Look, I want to achieve all my goals and be happy and be super successful. And then I want to help you achieve yours. And if we can do it together, even better, because then I don't have to be lonely.
I tell people all the time, stop focusing on the goal, enjoy
Mhm.
the journey. I can help you make so much money. I can make you so wealthy. But once you have the money, are you really going to be happy? I know so many people who have so much money and they're miserable. They're on their either third husband or third wife, and their kids hate them and they have all this stuff. They hate their life. And I tell people, I don't care how much money I make. I don't want that life. And so us women, we're pushing for this goal because we're ambitious. We
Mhm.
want something, whatever our goal is, and we're going to keep striving. And the funny thing is, I'll be like, oh, my first goal in life was to make $500,000. And when I made over $500,000, like take home to myself, I was like, oh, I made it. But the funny thing was, then I had a new goal. So it was always this push. And I started realizing, you know what I want more? I'd rather have friends who understand me. Or
Mhm.
like you said, that I can talk about that crappy day. I try to explain things to my husband, and his auto response is, oh, I'm sorry about that. He doesn't understand half of what I do. He just
No.
doesn't get it. But when I talk to a fellow entrepreneur and she gets it, she'll be like, oh my gosh, yes. Oh, I have this. Or it just feels good at least to tell someone who
Mhm.
understands you.
It is, it's feeling seen. Like your husband's not trying to not see you. He just
Right.
doesn't get it because he's just not in it and he can't relate to you the way that you need to be related to. It doesn't make him a red flag guy. If anything, it makes him a green flag guy because at least he's trying. But unless you're like in the mess of it, you don't understand. And I think that's so great. I have so many good friends. I love them. They just want to be moms. And I don't understand that world because I should never be responsible for raising tiny humans. Like, let's just be honest. Or like
Yeah.
my friends who work corporate America. I work corporate America. I can see their side of things.
Yeah.
You do not know how to hunt and fish until you are outside of corporate America trying to run your own business. Like those worlds cannot relate. So like I had one of my worst mornings on Thursday. Like everything that could have gone wrong last Thursday went wrong. And I literally texted one of my entrepreneur friends and I'm like, do you just have 5 minutes? Because I am going to crash out. She
Aw.
made 5 minutes for me. It actually probably ended up being 55 minutes. And it was amazing. And once I got done talking to her, I checked my email and 14 million things went right. And I was like, oh, it just felt good to get it out, right? Because sometimes you just need to. And it's wonderful to have that community.
And it's great that you're building this and you're adding to it. I kind of want to back up a little bit because I love your different take on PR compared to what most agencies or companies or people. I get all those messages. Hey, you want to have this magazine spot? And you go all the way to the bottom and it's like $1,500 or $1,800 or whatever it is. And I'm like, delete, delete, delete. Were you in it and then saw the flaws?
Oh, I think you have to be in it to see the flaws. Unless you're like a genius, I don't think you see the flaws until you're like knee deep stuck in it.
Okay.
So, and I think I was big in sports in college and high school, and you want to hype up your teammates, you want to talk about what they're good at, you want to be good peers. So I feel like publicity found me. I took one PR class, it was maybe 2 weeks in college, graduated early. I was going to go to law school. I hated law school, hated it. Got a PR internship and loved everything about it. Well, I mean, not the getting coffee for people in their dry cleaning part of the internship, but like the PR part. Love that part. There's something so cool about getting to help people achieve their dreams. You're either with them on their worst day and you're the one hand that's going to pull them out of the mess and help them see these things are achievable. We got this. Like, here's what we're going to do to get you the attention you need to save your business from bankruptcy. Or you're with them on their best day, their first marquee, their first media hit, their first magazine cover. That nothing is cooler than the high that you get watching someone else achieve their dreams. Like nothing in the world, I promise you. And so for me, I went through corporate, I went to crisis communications, I helped celebrities and athletes. And then my girlfriend started to have Etsy shops. And I thought, I've achieved everything in corporate America. My girlfriends are getting terrible advice from the internet. I have to step in and save them. Like no one asked me, but I inserted myself in the conversation. And that's when I realized the system was broken. You just need to have someone who understands what you're doing, or you yourself need to just get clear on your messaging, know the basic steps, and do the outreach yourself. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to make 6 or 7 figures. The best people for PR, the best candidates are the side hustlers, the Etsy store owners, the $0 makers, the startups, the part-time hustlers after their full-time career, to the 6 or 7 figures. You are nimble. You can talk about anything. You don't have the constraints of corporate. You don't have to worry about people not liking you because you want to attract and repel the people that are going to buy your product or service anyway. But you have the stories the media wants to cover across every level, local, regional, national, international. Those are the people that need PR, and they shouldn't be spending thousands of dollars a month for it. They can do it themselves for free if they have a basic understanding of what they need to do. Here's where I need to appear. Here's how I reach out to those people. Here's how I find those people. Even just what PR is. So I've made it my mission to have affordable public relations to help everybody at all levels.
Let's talk about volume, right? I don't want a ton of people. That's not going to help me in any way. Somebody asked me about the society I'm building. They said, oh, is it going to be like a 10,000 person society? And I said, absolutely not. It's a private society, probably max 1,200 people. That to me is kind of a lot, but I'm going to feel it out as we grow. And they were shocked by that. And I said, because the point is not to have masses. The point is to have the right people who are in it, and it's private. So we're not going to be talking about everything outside of it. So you can tell your story. You can tell the things that have gone wrong without other people having to hear it and having any other problems affect your business.
I think that's smart, because knowing what your goal is and knowing who you want to serve, that's the biggest battle. That's how you know where to find your audience. That's how you know how to nurture that audience. That's how you know how to promote what you're doing and help those people succeed. And I think too often, too many of us get sideswiped by our ego. We think we need this. We think we need the book to be a bestseller. We have to have a top 1% podcast. We have to, the bigger, the better, the vanity metrics of things. And it's truly, none of those things actually matter. If you really sit down to, why did I create this product? Why did I create this service? Why did you create your group? You wanted to serve people. Figure out the best way to serve those people. Right. And also, if 1,200 people were following you on the street, you'd be like, oh my God, there's 1,200 people following me on the street. This is terrifying. Call the police. Right. So like 1,200, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. And it's one of those where I want to make sure the people who want to live the way that I'm building it have an opportunity to do it. Right. But the whole point is we hold this room up and we help each other because, as you mentioned, you can learn from everybody.
You really can. You can learn from everybody. And I think I get flack all the time from my peers. I do discovery calls with every single person, no matter what level they might be at my service, or if they're just dipping their toe in PR. I'm going to take that call. I'm going to spend at least 15 minutes with you because I can't help everybody. There are public relations people that say PR is for everyone. There are certain people that PR is not for. And there are certain people that I definitely do not want to work with. If you want to be famous just to be famous, I can make you famous. You're not my person. I've done the realities, TV stars. It is not my cup of tea. And that's my personal choice for my values and how I want to live. But at the same time, I can help you find a good person if that's what your goal is. But the biggest thing I don't want to do, and why I do those calls, is I don't want people to waste their money. I'm a business owner myself. I don't want to waste money. If someone knows a better way to get from point A to point B of what I want to do, I hope one of my friends would take me aside and be like, hey, Jay, you're going to waste so much money on that. No, this is the path. Don't be stubborn. This is the path. I'm telling you. I want to do that for people. I don't want them to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars buying magazine ads, buying time in places they don't need to be, showing up. Or worse, hiring a professional to do something they say they're going to do, and then that never comes to fruition. I'm very upfront about when I'm talking to people. If this is your goal, I can help you. Or if this is your goal, I can't help you. I've turned down a couple clients in the last week, and my parting shot for one of them was, I want to see you succeed. I want us to see you succeed so badly that I know I can't get you there if this truly is your goal right now, but this person can get you there. Go to this person, listen to what they have to say. And then when you're done with that, come back to me because I'll make you the superstar you want to be on the other side. And I think knowing yourself and being comfortable with yourself and knowing what your goals and values are and who you truly can serve, I think that's the best way to actually serve your audience.
And you talked about hiring a professional. Do you always need to hire a professional to help you do it? Or can you, as a smaller business owner, just make it on, keep doing your own forever? Is there a certain timeline? Explain a little more about that.
I think it depends on what your goals are and how capable you are as a business owner. As female founders, we can do all the things. You can be president of the United States, the PTA, your neighborhood HOA, run a bake sale, clean your house, take the kids, make dinners, and that's just Tuesday. Like you can do all those things in a day. We're women, we're capable, but then we'll be tired. And no one wants to be that tired. So I think it's being realistic about what you want to do. I have a small business. Could I build my own website? Yeah. Do I hire someone else to do it? Now I do. But in the beginning, I was building my own website. I was learning about SEO. I was learning about how I should blog and social media and all of the other things because I want to know enough to be dangerous about how it works. But I also know where my time is best spent with my clients, with generating revenue, with helping pitch and promote. I'm going to outsource the things I'm not good at. So do you need to hire a public relations professional? No, I wrote an entire book, so you don't have to. So for $14.99, I'm giving you the freedom to never pay any money for publicity. However, if you're busy and you're selling or you need to be working as like a dentist or day-to-day people, it's okay to hand things off to a professional. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It doesn't mean that you're like have an ego and think you should be famous. It means you have a circle of excellence and expertise you need to stay in. Hand it to a professional. I don't do social media. I do it for fun. I'll post here and there. My clients aren't there. I don't spend time there. In fact, up until last July, I hadn't been on social media in 2 years because it just didn't serve me. It's not where my people are. It wasn't fun. It was sucking the life out of me. It made me feel really bad about myself, if I'm being perfectly honest. And then somewhere in July, I decided to start posting again for fun, and it's been fun. And when it stops being fun, I'll get off it. But I see so many people stress about posting and they hate it, but they can't afford to hire a social media person. If you truly need to be there, if your audience truly is there and you don't like it, look into hiring a social media person, but also be real. Is your audience there? Do you need to hire someone? I think that's a litmus test as an entrepreneur. Know what you're capable of, know what you can do, be honest about your time management. Can you do this yourself or do you not have the time? Are you spending 4 hours a night on Netflix? Or could those be 4 hours of time you could split up doing 4 different tasks that move your business forward? I think we need to be realistic about those things too. I'm not telling anyone to go to burnout, but know enough to be dangerous about something, know at least a background. So when you do hire a professional, they're not pulling one over on you and you're hiring the right professional for your business. And I think that's just being smart about business.
When I came into the online space, I've been coaching for 6 years. I have another completely separate business, done $100 million in sales. So I came into the online space thinking, oh, I'm super successful. I'm a multimillionaire. I know what I'm doing. I had the mindset of, I'm going to just throw money at it because I have money, right? Why not?
Right.
So I hired a social media manager. I hired a video podcast editor. I hired a whole support team to help me do all this stuff. What I realized very quickly is those people are there to help you scale, not to help you grow. And so I hired them all, and I realized about just a few months ago, I'm sitting here going, well, I'm not growing at all. It's not the way I thought it was going to be. I was spending like $10,000 a month, and I let them all go. And I said, nope. So now I'm editing my own podcasts, my own YouTubes. I create everything. I do my own social media, all of it now. And the reason I took it on is I'm spending a little more time now to have a lot more time later on. So like you said, learning the basics, what type of editing, works better in the video? What's the flow? How do I want it to feel? Thumbnails, all that stuff. So that when I hire someone, now I
Mhm.
can say this works. And the funny thing is, by doing this in the last 7 days, I have picked up 14 new subscribers on YouTube,
Yeah.
right? Which I couldn't get like one a day forever. So it's starting to grow and I'm seeing more and more coming. It's working. So it's knowing you first, then doing it. So I always tell people it's not a beginner thing where we mess up. It's also an experience thing where we mess up. We think we have the money. We think we can just go out and do it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen for us. And so
Right.
I love that conversation about you don't really need someone if you don't need someone. Now, you also mentioned you worked with celebrities, people who want to get famous.
Mhm.
Because I always have this little thought in my head, I would love to be famous, but then I'm like, no, I don't think I really would. And since you know people, I kind of want to pick your brain about that a little bit.
I can only tell you so much because I love my clients and I value their privacy. But I think there's two sides to every coin. You either want to be famous and you want it to all be about you and you want all eyes on you. And then you know what? Go on reality TV. That is the quickest way to become famous. And you might not like what you become famous for, but that's the quickest way to become famous. If you want to be known for being a thought leader or an expert, or if you truly just want to help people, normal PR can get you that way. And it's not a focus on you, the person. Like it might be an extension. You know, if you have a beauty brand, like if you have a skincare
Mhm.
brand and you're amazing, there's the beauty aspect of things. There's also the business, how the business grew aspect of things. But then the third tenet of that is the founder story. There is a reason the founder created that beauty line, that skincare line that made it great. And then once she wants to grow and sell that beauty line, if she's truly done PR the right way with those three tenets about the business, about the skincare line, about her as the founder, when she sells that business off, she's got a huge trajectory of she's not famous, but she's a known founder. She's a business brain. She can build anything, buy, sell. She can spin that off into something else. And I think that's the difference between being famous for famous and being a known entity. The worst part of my career, I've worked on many things. I've worked on many scandals. I've helped people out of very horrible, awful things where I'm like, God, wow, humanity, we're not going in the right direction. One of the hardest mentally and physically times for me was a 72-day span in a couple years ago, maybe a decade ago, when Kim Kardashian was married to Kris Humphries for 72 days. No one felt the pain of that marriage more than me, the person who wasn't in that marriage, because I was the PR manager for the gym that Kris Humphries would work out at. And Kim would come by and she would invite the paparazzi. And you know what people who go to a gym don't want? Paparazzi watching them come in and outside of a gym. She didn't go in to work out, but like really just to be photographed going in. And then the photographer, she'd call up media. They'd come. Obviously, she's Kim Kardashian. You know, she was in her heyday. They'd want to shoot inside the windows of this gym. There's normal people like Sally down the street just dropped
Does
her
not.
kid off of daycare and she just wants to get some steps in on the Stairmaster. She doesn't want to be on TMZ next to you, Kim. Like no one does. No one wants that. So
Yes.
dealing with that whole thing and the whatever, and
Wow.
I would never wish ill will on anyone else's marriage, but I'm not going to lie. I had a wild night out when they announced that they were breaking up because I needed a break from their marriage.
That's crazy. I'm not even famous. Like some people will know me and recognize me from my other business, but
Sure,
that
you're
is
not
rare.
famous. Sure, you're
But
not.
right. But it's funny because I'll be like, people are taking videos. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be in their video. I don't want to be in their picture.
Right.
Like, I don't want to
No.
be posted
Mm-mm.
somewhere and like be seen for whatever. I mean, some days it's like I just have like no makeup on, hair up, like I'm just running around like crazy. I don't want to be posted all over with that. And so I
No.
love how Europe, I did some trainings in Europe and you cannot take a picture, a photograph, a recording of anybody anywhere unless everybody in that vicinity
Mhm.
signs a paper agreeing to it, even if they're
Yeah,
in it or not. So if they so happen to just be close enough, they have to sign it. And I kind of
mhm.
like that. Where out here,
I
it's
love
a,
that.
yeah,
Love
it's a
that.
free for all.
No, like don't post pictures of the thing I hate so much. Like you'll go on Reddit or you'll go on Threads and they'll be like, "Am I the asshole?" And 900 times out of 10, if you have to ask if you're the asshole, you're probably the asshole. But they'll be like, "Am I the asshole?" And then they'll show a picture of someone they filmed, and it's like, "Yeah, you're the asshole." Don't take pictures of strangers and post it on the internet. Whether they're doing something and you want to bully and make fun of them, whether it's a funny thing, like you don't film kids, adults, anyone without their permission. It's so gross. It's so icky. It just makes
Yeah.
me recoil. I've seen the dark sides of all sorts of business, and I think that social media is great. It's taught us amazing things like cool artists, cool people, introduce me
Yeah.
to you, like things like that. And then it's also shown me how low we can all go. And I think it's mental illness at a certain point. And people do so much for attention and the clicks, and they want the vanity metrics. You forget that there's another human being around there. And I'm like, don't post those pictures of your kids. I know you're proud of your house, but don't give me the layout of your house tour because now I can
Yes.
rob you. And like, don't tell me when you're going on vacation. Like, do you want nothing to be there when you get back? My
Oh my
friends
gosh.
do it, and I'll send them a text and they'll be like, you're kind of being a Karen. And I'm like, well, first of all, it's part of my name, but also like safety first, people.
Yes.
Safety first.
People don't think about that at all. It's rare. I'll show my kids, very, very rare,
Mhm.
because one, they need to build their own life. I don't want to build it for them, right? And then two, it's like I don't want people to know who my kids are because there's crazy people. Like I said, I'm not huge. It's not like I'm this like super famous person, but I still get people who will message me, "You're so beautiful. Oh my God, you're so gorgeous." And I'm like, okay, like I'm not
This
discussing
is
any of
not
that,
what we're here for.
Yes, but you just don't know, people out there have their own agendas. And
Mhm.
there are people who show their whole house. They'll
Yeah.
talk about everything. They're highlighting it. And one, it's safety. Two, a lot of what they're doing is putting the wrong expectations for other women, like of how they live. Like I remember seeing on Instagram, there was this lady where she had a face mask on. So she was doing the red light therapy on a treadmill running while she had her 1-year-old playing behind her and her 5-year-old folding the laundry. And she was typing on the keyboard and she's like, this is how I get work done. And I know it's a funny thing,
Yeah.
but I'm like, people see that and think that's how we're supposed to live. It's not. It's actually sad. And so there's a lot of things we see about to be famous. Oh, we have to have that car, that plane. The funny thing
Mhm.
is, I tell my kids all the time, don't look at the person's car, look at their house.
Yeah.
Because I can go buy a really nice car and look wealthy, but they cannot have a really nice house, even if they're renting it. Because you're at $20,000 a month, if you're not making that kind of money, you can't even rent that, right? And so
Mhm.
we're all shown that we should be celebrities and we should be famous. And that's why we should have PR and we should get our name out and explode everything. But the question is, do we want that?
Right. And some people do, and that's good for them, and other people don't. And like, I would even take it a step further. I wouldn't even look at people's houses. I would look at the people that they surround themselves with.
Ah,
If you have a circle of people who have been with you for forever, and you have like, if you have close people in your circle through every decade of your life, you are doing something right. If those people have nothing bad to say about you, hopefully none of us are a Dateline where they're like, she lit up a room, I didn't see it coming, if no one in your life is going to be like, she lit up a room, you're not doing it right. But also, I hope you never end up on Dateline. But I think that who you surround yourself with and keep in your nest egg, if you go from nothing to something, a lot of people are going to fall off. A lot of people are going to come on because they want the money or the fame or like the ripple effect of the things. But if you can keep the tenets throughout your life of people at every point, it shows that you haven't changed as a person. Like Warren
okay.
Buffett has like the same core group of people he always had, right? He has his one business buddy. He has a real modest house. If Warren Buffett's living way below his means, what are the rest of us doing? That sort of thing. And I think again, it comes back to the value system, who you surround yourself with. Like I have a best friend that I've had since kindergarten. And the day my best friend from kindergarten says, KJ, your head has gotten too big, and she'll tell me, she will totally tell me, your head's gotten too big, or you're not doing this the right way, or like, what are you doing? The day that she has had that talk with me, I'll know that I've overstepped what I truly need to be doing. I'll know that there's something wrong. Or heaven forbid she stops talking to me because something I've done, then I'll know that I've made a mistake. As you grow, the space grows between other people.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to keep everyone around you. But if you don't have a core group, it's not a flex to be a lone wolf. It's also not a flex if you're paying for every single person in your posse.
My husband, he had an apartment in Santa Clara. So he, a lot of the 49ers lived around him. So he'd go to their houses and they would have beers together and other stuff. And he said there was one there, it was kind of sad. All his friends were like mooching off him all the time, anything
Yep.
they wanted, the cars, he bought it all. And my husband was like, what a sad life, right? Like
Mhm.
your friends are there for the stuff you give them. They're not real friends. What status do you want to live? And so I just tell people, do you enjoy your life? Are you happy? If you're
Mhm.
not, how big do you want to grow your business? If you're making a couple $100,000 a year and you're really happy and that's content for you, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go more. You don't have to do more. But if you're like, I want another goal, I want to go the next step, then I think PR and I think what we're talking about is such a good way to go to that next level, right?
Right.
Income jumps are all about taking what you're making now, pulling out the right pieces, and then building, I call it like a secondary business on top of what you already have, making it a new, bigger problem to solve. So it's like a newer business, you're charging more money, you're able to do stuff. The
Mhm.
PR, and I love how you talk about getting on podcasts because that can really help you. So I want to ask you a question about podcasts.
Okay.
When you go out there searching for podcasts to get on it, because I have seen a lot of posts, a lot of comments saying, okay, you want to get on podcast, you need to do this 20-point email type system thing that you have to send with these kind. I love the eyes, right? Because it is, right? And I'm looking at it going,
Sorry.
I know you're funny because I look at these things going, I don't want to do all that. Like if it's that much work, I don't want to do it. And they're like, you have to have this subject line, you have to have this body paragraph, you have to do it this way and that way. Is that true? We have to really do
No,
that. Okay.
that's not true at all. That is such crap. And they just want you to buy their $97
Yep.
course. I think the truth of it is you Google podcasts you like. You Google podcasts that are about your area of expertise. You pitch the podcast you like listening to as a business owner, right? Clearly, you're an expert in what you do. Other people need to hear about it. Just find where those podcasts that are talking about that. It's literally as simple as going to Google, going to the news tab at the top, seeing who's talking about your area or industry, then taking a step further, putting podcasts in there. Things are going to pull up. Go to Spotify, go to iTunes, search the podcast. You're going to find all of those things there. And then it's a simple subject matter. Like think of a catchy, first of all, you're going to write something simple like, hello, Sam. My name is KJ Blattenbauer. I am a publicist with 30 years of experience helping founders be seen, known, and actually make sales. Recently heard on your podcast X, Y, and Z. Here's a contrarian take. Here's a new spin on that. Here's something that I also think your viewers would like 2 or 3 sentences. Closing. Here's how to contact me. Let's talk. I want to be on your podcast. That's it. And then whatever I put in the body of that email, the 2 or 3 sentences, make a 2 or 3 sentence caption that fits it, like for your subject line, right? Like it's not, you don't need to have the greatest thing ever. You just need to get them to click, And I think, right now, I think mine's something like, here's how visibility really pays off, or award-winning publicist on how to truly get PR, or things like that. It's not anything revolutionary that I'm wasting time over. And honestly, in the land of ChatGPT, write the 2 or 3 sentences about why you want to be on this podcast and why you think their listeners want to hear from you, because it's that simple. It's who you are, who you help, and why you can help them right now through this podcast. Like why this podcaster's audience cares about who you are and why you help. That's your 2 or 3 sentences. Take your 2 or 3 sentence pitch, put it in ChatGPT and be like, catchy subject line for this pitch. It's going to spit something out for you in 2 seconds. Send that. You're good. If you don't hear back from them in 4 or 5 days, literally hit the forward button. And when it says FW, change that to follow up. And then on that same email, you just put 1 or 2 sentences that says, hello, Sam, wanted to follow up again. I know things get slipped through the cracks. Really think your audience wants to hear about X, Y, and Z, especially, and then why they especially want to hear about it now. Hit send. Wait another week. If you haven't heard from them, guess what you do? You follow up again, because people get busy. I don't get to every email right away on my inbox, but I can tell you every time I pitch that follow-up email, it's a 75% open rate. I get tons of hits from that. The first one, maybe not so many unless they know to expect it. The media's busy, you're busy, I'm busy, we're all busy. No one's checking their inbox all the time. If you follow up, they're going to pay attention to you. And the worst thing they're going to do is say no. And that just tells you that no, it's not a right hit, or no, it's not right now. And most media are going to be like, hey, this isn't a fit for me, but try this person or try this podcast or try whatever. So everything is a lesson, and nothing should hurt your feelings. It's not you person they don't want on there. It's just maybe that subject's not right for their audience. Maybe you misread the crowd. Maybe they literally just had a PR person on last week and you didn't see that episode yet. Like it could be a variety of factors. Don't take it personally. Just keep reaching out.
So talking about ChatGPT and reaching out, you know how cool it really is if you say, hey, chat, I want you to research all the podcasts that have this type of audience.
There you go.
That's this size. It gave me a huge list. And then because I don't, okay. And this is you can tell me my advice is wrong. So I would tell my listeners, you don't need to be on these huge podcasts. I went on a huge one, and honestly, I was so upset about it because the lady showed up late. She flossed her teeth before we hit go. And I go, oh, and she's like, oh, sorry, I forgot we had a call. I just had steak. Let me floss. And she's like flossing. And I was like, okay. And then
no, I'm done.
I know. Well, I was sitting like, okay, that's kind of rude. Okay. And then she starts talking to me, but she's not even paying attention. So she's talking, and then she's just reading questions. And she's reading questions, doesn't engage in the conversation.
Nope.
And then when I was all done, I was like, oh, what'd you think? She's like, well, I think what you do is stupid, but we need to fill a spot. Thanks for coming on. And I was like, Really?
Wow.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. But, you
Now
know,
I know that I don't like you
I do
ever.
not, and they're huge, and I'm like, I'm not gonna promote their stuff, I'm not gonna talk about their things, it was
No.
really bad. And so sometimes we feel like we have to be on these huge ones, but
Mhm.
I don't mind the small ones, and I know you have a little story about the small ones, but, like, I don't mind the little small ones, I like the medium, so I told chat, medium size with these people,
Yep.
and here's the cool thing, after I got the list, I said, "Out of the top 5, can you pull their email addresses and where I can email?" And
Yep.
it actually got me the email addresses on how to apply to be on the
Mhm.
podcast. So sometimes it's a link, sometimes it's
Yep.
an email address. You can do it as simple as that too. Like I feel like it seems so huge and overcomplicated, but it's more about just the time it takes to
Yep.
actually just get the emails out and follow up. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just getting over the intimidation factor of
Yeah.
it. I'm a huge fan of smaller podcasts. Look, I know my people are listening to a variety of things. And I also know that PR can literally benefit anyone, whether you're big, small, whatever. I've been on huge podcasts that have tons of following. I've seen a huge uptick in people who want to download my freebies, and I've gotten zero business from that time invested. I've also been on a podcast recently where I think it said their monthly downloads were 125 people. I have people that I would be like, that's not even worth going on. I went on, I talked about the PR stuff. I got 3 high ticket clients from that. Like, I can't even calculate the ROI for that because 30 minutes of my time was very well worth it for 125 people that are going to engage. It's truly about the quality of what you're giving when you're speaking to your expertise, you're appearing in the media, you're sharing your knowledge and what you do, but it's also the quality of their audience. You know, like quantity doesn't matter. You can have 14,000 followers on Instagram. If only 14 of those are going to buy when you have something to sell or use your services, what are all the other ones doing? Because you're wasting your time posting for them. But at the same time, like I could have 200 followers on Instagram. And if 199 of them are ready to go the second I say my book's available, I love those people. And I want to do whatever I can for those people. And that's a great community to build. So I don't really pay attention to big, small, whatever. I know my audience is listening and out there, and I know my message can help people. I'm going to show up where anyone wants to have me right now.
I love that. And as we're wrapping up this podcast, I want you to talk about how you help people, your services that you offer. I know we talked about the book a little bit, but let's have a little more discussion around all of that.
Sure. So I have the book. It's coming out in January. My biggest want for people is to be clear on their messaging. No one can buy from you. No one can come visit you. No one can use your services or product if they don't know what you do, if you're not clear on your messaging. So I start every one of my clients, big or small, with a strategy session. And it's us getting together for 2 or 3 hours. I go through an exercise with you and then I go away. When I come back, you're going to have a 90-day plus plan that goes through messaging, how you think and talk about your brand, how you show up on social, on your website, in media interviews. Here's how you pitch. Here's who you should be pitching. Like literally nuts and bolts. You could take that plan. You could do your own PR for the next. I've had a client use it for 6 years.
That's cool.
I also, once that strategy session is done, there's 2 other ways to work with me. You can go down to my mentorship, which is we get on a call twice a month for 30 minutes and we go over like, okay, here's what's happening. Here's what I need help with. This might be an issue. Here's what I'm thinking. How would you pitch this or launch this? And then you go away and you do all the heavy lifting. And I'm in base camp and I'm coaching you on and you're running things by me. It's like having a publicist in your pocket. It's less than $600 a month to have a publicist in your pocket coaching you, making sure you do everything right. And then if you do the strategy session and you are like, oh, KJ, this is great. I do not have the time to do this, or I just want to hand it off to a professional. I have a full service offering that I give, and it's basic PR management. I do everything for you, available 24/7 with all of your media needs. And it's a 3-month minimum to work with me just because PR takes repetition. And if I'm going to spend time in your brand, I want to make it worthwhile for you. And I also want you to see the benefits of working with a publicist. And so I take everything on. So whether you just need someone to touch base with every once in a while, someone to just help with your messaging, or someone to do everything for you, that's how people can work with me.
So then if someone does the mentorship, but then after a little while wants to move to the full service, they can do that
Mhm.
as well? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then where can they find you if they want to check out your content or learn more about you?
Hearsay PR is my website. That's HEARSAYPR.com. Or you can follow me on Instagram at KJ Blattenbauer. It's KJ BLATTENBAUER.
Awesome. And if you're watching this on YouTube, that will be right below the video. If you are listening to this on the audio channels, that will be all in the show notes. So don't worry about that. KJ, thank you so much for coming on today. What a wonderful conversation. And I can't wait to hear how the book tour goes for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Truly appreciate you.
Thank you.